Okay, so let me give you guys a quick update on the Michael Oher story. Now, I'm just going to say it before we get into it. I think Michael Oher is probably the one in the wrong in this whole story. Let's get into it. The Blind Side producers fight back against Michael Oher's claims, reveals how much the Tuohys got paid. Now, just as a quick recap, remember Michael Oher was suing the family from the movie, saying he didn't get any money, and they had him sign a conservatorship instead of adopting him, and they were stealing all his money from him, and now he wants a full accounting and wants his money back and all that stuff. So the family then came back and was like, no, we did pay you some money. Here's it, we got a check. They didn't produce a check, but they said they pay him with a check. If they didn't pay him with a check, and they've told everybody that, I think that will put them in a very bad position. But essentially, they said they paid him $100,000, which was, 1/5 of whatever they got from the movie. Michael says they got millions and millions of dollars, so it went from them getting, he got nothing, to now he didn't get his fair share. So it's gotten a little bit more confusing. So now the producers have come out and seemingly sided with the family. So let's look into it. Producers of The Blind Side have said that the hit film was still verifiably authentic after its credibility was thrust into doubt following Michael Oher's bombshell lawsuit. The 37-year-old former offensive tackle, whose life story inspired the 2009 film starring Sandra Bullock, this month claimed that his parents, Sean and Leanne Tuohy, never actually adopted him. That's true, they didn't adopt him. But one thing about the movie, which I'll say, it's a movie. It's a movie, right? It wasn't a documentary. It was based on real events. Just like, what's the movie with Leatherface? The Texas Chainsaw Massacre. You said based on true events. That doesn't mean the movie's actually true. I understand people want to say, treat it like it's a documentary, but it's not. It was, it's a movie, and obviously going to take some poetic license with it. So, even that claim I really didn't think was that compelling, but it is what it is. Broderick Johnson and Andrew Kosov, co-founder and co-CEOs of Alcorn Entertainment and producers of the film, have given their 2 cents as families' ups and downs have challenged the authenticity of the storyline. The Blind Side is verifiably authentic and will never be a lie or fake, regardless of the familiar ups and downs that have occurred subsequent to the film, the pair said in a statement to People Thursday. We are as proud of this film today as we were when our amazing collaborators made the movie 14 years ago. Johnson and Kosov also disputed Oher's claims that the Tuohys raked in millions worth of royalties in a statement to Deadline. So they're saying that they didn't rake in millions. The deal that was made by Fox for the Tuohys and Michael Oher's life rights was consistent with the marketplace at that time for rights of relatively unknown individuals, they said. Now that makes sense. Nobody knew who these people were, right? So, you're not going to pay them. Let's say if Trump wants to sell the rights to his life story. That's a totally different ball game, right? Or Obama or whatever. Those people are well known. So some unknown person, you're not going to pay them because you just don't know if the story's going to work. So I definitely understand what they mean. The market just wasn't going to pay them millions of dollars to some unknown for their life story. Therefore, it did not include significant payouts in the event of the film's success. As a result, the notion that the Tuohys were paid millions of dollars by Alcorn to the detriment of Michael Oher is false. So they're saying Michael is just straight up lying about that, right? They didn't get millions. So how much did they get? The peers said that their production company paid about $767,000 to the talent agency that represented the Tuohys and Oher. And, if the talent agency takes 20%, that leaves you with a nice little chunk. So 10% or whatever they take. So remember, the Tuohys said it was closer to $500,000 in millions. Michael Oher was saying it's millions. So I think the Tuohys number kind of comes closer to what it actually is. And again, Michael did allegedly he got a check. But again, I haven't confirmed that. I don't know. The Tuohys didn't produce the check. The movie grossed $309 million worldwide following its release. Oher claims in a lawsuit he did not receive any money from the film's profits. In the story of The Blind Side, we saw the better angles of human nature. Their statement defending the film read, "We saw it in the extraordinary courage that Michael Oher demonstrated in accepting the Tuohy's generosity, not as a handout or as his saviors, but as a way through which he could improve his own life." Pretty good statement. Michael's academic accomplishments and athletic achievements demonstrate this. He is raising his own children now, who shall know a life of possibility, the likes of which Michael never knew as a child. It literally says, is the ultimate testament to Michael's own strength and courage, they added. I like it. They gave him some ups to it too. Johnson and Kozov said no major studio would make the film, leaving their production company to fund the $29 million budget. The prevailing wisdom was that a football movie starring a woman would not appeal to football fans. It had too much football to appeal to families, and that the movie starring black actors didn't work overseas, they told the outlet, which is true. And if you can look at that from like even Black Panther, it did so well in America, but it didn't really do that great overseas. And it's just the way the market is. Our opinion was it would appeal to everyone. And in 2009, when the country and the world more broadly was more hopeful and less divided, it did. And that's true. Back in 2009, the world was a little bit more together. Now it's all. Everybody got a chip on the shoulder. Earlier this month, Oher claimed in court documents that he was never actually adopted by the Tuohys, and that the conservatorship he was in allowed the Memphis couple to retain legal power over him. He is now asking for a full accounting of the money earned off the use of his name for a whopping 14 years since the release. For their report, the Tuohys have called Oher's filing hurtful and a shameful shakedown attempt, claiming that Oher was well aware he had not been adopted. And I'll also say this. One of the reasons why I really believe the Tuohys over Michael is that the Tuohys, they recently sold their company for like $200 million. So I don't really think they needed the money. They didn't need money before Michael. They didn't need money after Michael. When he signed if they really were in to get him, when he signed those multi-million-dollar contracts with the NFL, they would have gotten some of that, but they got none of that. They touched nothing. This whole thing is over this $700,000. That's really what it's over, right? And Michael made millions, and they've made millions even past that. So I don't know if what the hell's going on, but it just doesn't make sense, right? And when it doesn't make sense, it makes me think, I honestly think Michael's just not being honest. I'm going to say it. And I know that's not the black thing to say, because I know like the Breakfast Club is saying, oh, Michael was trafficked and all that stuff, which is utterly ridiculous. I think Michael may have come on some tough times because he's retired already, and maybe he wants a little bit more money, and maybe he's feeling like, hey, I should have got more of this movie, and let me now go and try to see if I can get some more. And now even the producers are coming up, there is no more, right? Nobody's making hundreds of million dollars off this movie because you were an unknown actor, right? They got paid $700,000, which you got a part of allegedly. So let me know in the comment section who you believe, because at first reading the story I was like, oh yeah, especially with the adoption piece, because you can adopt adults in Tennessee even back then, because I even looked up the law back then, but last video I didn't specifically say that, but yes, I looked at the law back then, and the law back then was still the same. You could adopt adults in Tennessee. Now, why didn't they adopt them? Who really knows? But it seems like he knew that he wasn't adopted because he knew it was a conservatorship. It also seems like he got money that he says he never got, and he claimed that they made millions and millions of dollars off this movie deal, and they did not. And the fact that when he signed up for the NFL, they were still conservators and they touched none of that money. Matter of fact, they allowed him to sign all the contracts and he made millions and millions of dollars, and now 14 years later, it seems like, I want something more. That's kind of the way I just see it. But let me know where I'm wrong in the comment section. Let me know if you think I'm off base, if you think Michael is really the victim here. I think the situation is sad all around. But right now, from the evidence in front of me, if you're asking me to vote, I think the Tuohys may have a better argument. But let me know in the comment section. My name is Nate the Lawyer. I'm out of here. Peace.